Welcome to the Gov Geeks. We're honored to provide professional development strategies to help you get in and get ahead in public service. I'm Javier, and in this interview, we'll hear from Chief Insurance Geek herself, Ellen Davis. A top executive and sought-after expert for public servant benefits, her specialties include health, life, long-term care, and disability insurance. Today, Ellen will share 3 government employee strategies to help ensure well-being. Plus, we'll also include a few actionable career tips along the way. And here we go. This is Javier Lopez with the Gov Geeks, and I'm very excited to welcome Ellen Davis today to talk to us about life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. Welcome.
Welcome. Thank you so much, Javier. I'm so excited to be here. Thank you.
Absolutely. We are so thrilled. We've had a lot of conversations before, and I'm really excited about all the wisdom that you have and also your willingness to share it with everyone.
Oh, it's my pleasure. Actually, the more that people are educated about what is available to them and their options, the better choices they can make for themselves and their families. So I'm really excited about this.
Well, please tell us a little bit about yourself and your company.
Well, my name is Ellen Davis, and my company is Life Health Home Insurance Group, and I am a native New Yorker that moved to Maryland 23 years ago. I will always be a native New Yorker. I joke that though my children were born here, they are New Yorkers that grew up in Maryland, though they are truly Marylanders. So I'm actually very proud of them and the fact that they feel so homegrown here.
We have 4 really cool questions, and I know you prepared them, so I'm really excited and looking forward to them, to your responses. So the first question is, who is your spirit comic book character?
Well, you know, when you asked me that to think about, I realized my spirit comic book character is actually the entire group of the Avengers. And the reason being is that, I know you're very happy about that, is that the Avengers as a whole, they come together, I think, and excuse me if I'm incorrect, but I think there's over 60 Avengers in the entire franchise. But they all come together to work together to take care of bigger problems that one person can't do. And one of the ways that I run my business is this is a team sport, for lack of a better word. Planning, thinking about insurance and long-term, short-term, how do I take care of my family? How do I take care of my parents, my children, myself, is a team effort. And without experts in other fields to work with, how am I supposed to help my client go from point A to point Z in the most efficient, cost-effective way? And so I think the Avengers is my spirit comic book group.
So, question number 2, Star Wars or Star Trek?
Okay, so easy. Star Trek. I'm sorry. Star Trek over Star Wars. I know I'm going to get a lot of pings on this from friends and family, but I grew up with the original Star Trek. I know not to wear a red shirt. Notice the purple.
Exactly. Never wear a red shirt.
Never wear a red shirt. Though yellow does happen. Reds get hit more than yellows. But I'm a Trekkie through and through.
Oh, perfect. So question number 3, Marvel Comics or DC Comics?
I'm sorry, hands down, Marvel. I mean, you know, the Avengers, you got to go Marvel across the board. And their franchise, again, when they started, it's all about the good guys. It's all about coming together. And I love that. Not to say that DC Comics is bad. Nope, I'm not saying that. It's just I happen to prefer Marvel comic characters, or, you know, at least I did as a kid. So.
Question number 4, PlayStation or Xbox?
In my home, we have Xbox. So my
cool.
like Xbox, so that's where we are. So I'm not really good at it. They love to tease me about that. Yeah.
But at least, Ellen, I know that you have a lot of experiences, a lot of great things that you've done. And one of the things that we were focusing on is top 3 suggestions that you would have for federal employees. Now, this is a very big question because of all the expertise that you have. How do you smash it into just, 3 things? But let's give it a shot.
Wow. It is really difficult. So when I talk to somebody who is wanting to get into the federal government or state government or local government, or somebody who has been working within any government agency for a short or a long period of time, we tend to look at planning for now and for the future. And so we take a look at this pie in the sky concept of this is where I am today. This is where I'd like to be, in 5 years. It's almost like an interview. Where do I want to be in retirement? Well, I have no idea, nor do you, and we don't know what will happen over the years. So let's take a look at pie in the sky and let's slice them by pieces. Because when you take a piece of pie, and if it's small enough, you can go back for seconds, and for thirds, and on occasion fourths and fifths. But you can do it over a period of time instead of trying to eat the entire pie at once. This is not a pie eating contest. This is life. This is something that takes time. So every individual is just that. They're an individual. Their wants, their needs, their desires, their goals, they're all very different. So it ultimately comes down to them. What do they want? How do they want to get there? And what vehicle or vehicles are we going to take to do it? And, I'm kind of thinking, beam me up, Scotty, is I'm hoping in my lifetime I get to actually see that. That would be really cool.
And if there's some way that we could plan for that, I'm sure that you would have the answers for how to get it done. So it sounds like the recommendation is to really think through the big picture and then break it into smaller pictures and see how you can make the path forward.
That's right. And this is a living, breathing concept. So no matter what you do, there's nothing that's truly set in stone. So what you may start off with, it has to be reviewed on a regular basis. So I talk to my clients minimum of once a year. Some clients I talk to multiple times in the year because, as you and I both know, life changes.
Yeah.
I have 2 children. The day each of them were born, life changed. The day that each of them talked and walked and rolled over, and one is about to go to college and the other one's in high school, life changes on a day-to-day basis. And so you can't just assume that once you put a document in place or once you put an insurance policy in place, that's all that you ever need. It's not the case. You actually have to review things every year, every 3 years, every 5 years, because life does change. The people that you've involved in your planning, they may also change.
It makes me think of Ferris Bueller.
I said it before and I'll say it again. Life moves pretty fast. You don't stop and look around once in a while, you could miss it.
You can miss it. That's right. That's exactly right.
Planning sounds like a good first recommendation. What would you say is the second one then?
Well, once you plan, how do you execute that plan? So again, if you're taking this big pie in the sky, that's the plan. Oh, this is what I want. All right, now what do we need to do to execute? Well, if we talk about life insurance for a moment, we talk about what do you want it to accomplish? There are a lot of rules out there. People say, oh, you need 7 times your income, 10 times your income. You need to protect your mortgage. It could be anything. Life insurance is this incredible organic product. And that's how I see it. Because what you want it to do for you is ultimately what we're going to focus on. Does it mean that it has a dollar amount or a face amount that equates to covering your mortgage or 7 times your income or creating an education fund for your children? It might, but that might not be how we got there. In addition, those amounts, they may sound great, but what if you can't afford that? What if right now your income and your debt, your mortgage, car payments, school payments, student loans, debt, credit card, or maybe you're just starting out, there's just not a lot happening. So we start small. And sometimes we do something called laddering, and we do a little bit here, and maybe in 5 years we add a little bit more. Maybe some of it comes directly from what the government agency gives you, X times your salary as part of your benefit package. Maybe we add a little bit through FEGLI, depending on the cost versus cost outside of the government agencies. It depends, because every person is different. What if you have a medical issue and the underwriting outside of the federal government or state or local government creates a situation where your premium is too high, but internally, because it's a group policy, it makes more sense financially? Then we take a look at that. But what if it's the other way around? We also take a look at that. So I would say the next part of, this big picture plan is, yes, we plan, and then we look at different pieces to execute. What can we execute today to get you part of the way or to start the process? What can we look at, or what do we choose to look at each and every year to get us to the next step? And because life changes and incomes change, sometimes I have had government employees leave the government, go out on their own, and all of a sudden, what do I do now? Okay, well, we might have looked at that planning the year before and prepped for it, as opposed to, well, I'm done now, so now put everything in place. That
Magically,
too.
everything is going to happen.
And sometimes that happens as well.
So it sounds like that we have 2 steps, really good recommendations so far. Setting this goal, setting the plan, defining what the pie is, and then putting the pieces into place to appropriately execute how to go about everything. What is the third recommendation?
Always review, 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 review. I mean, truly, life is organic, as are your plans. I talked about this a little earlier about that life changes, and every single day it is a new experience. And so you need to, not constantly, meaning every day, every month, but minimum once a year, review those plans, review those documents. I tell my clients no more than 3 years to look at your wills, your healthcare proxies, your living wills. All of those documents need to be looked at. Your beneficiaries change. Your children, all of a sudden, if you have a child's trust that brings them into their 30s, all of a sudden they're outside of that child trust. Well, you no longer need that trust wording in your wills. Or in my case, I'm truly a sandwich generation. I have children. I also have had elderly parents. I still have my father with me that I've cared for over a decade at this point. And so I have a parent trust in my documents, because if God forbid something happens to us, I need to make sure that at the time my parents, but now my father, is cared for in the manner in which he should be. So there are lots of different ways to do things. So review, 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 kind of like, I don't want to say taking a test, but you have to look at things. You can't just write a document, put it in a vault, and forget all about it.
You talked a little bit earlier when we were chatting of that awesome picture that you have behind you, that autographed jersey, the picture and the faces of all the players that are there. Can you tell us a little bit about the determination that they have on their faces and where that picture was taken?
Yes, absolutely. So behind me is a jersey that is signed by every member of the 1999 Women's World Cup players at the time. And the photograph that's taken, if you can see it clearly, you can see they are just super, super focused. And they almost look like, what are you doing? Well, it happened to have been taken right before they scored the winning goal. And one of the reasons why I love this is it reminds me, again, you might recognize some people. You might see Mia Hamm in the front row. You might see Brandy, and you might see Brianna Scully. You might see all of those people, but it's truly the team that got them from a group of people to the World Cup winners. I mean, what about Sarah? What about Kate? What about Shannon? What about all of those players? And so it's kind of the same conceptual idea like the Avengers group. It is a team effort.
It feels like the 3 recommendations that you have really come together with this idea about a government employee's responsibility to assemble their own team of experts to help them achieve what their vision is.
Well, they can, yes, and sometimes that can be daunting. How do you find the experts? Well, when you're working at your job, you're the expert in that job, and you may talk to your cubicle mate or your office mate, and they may say, oh, well, I did this, this, and this, and that might be the perfect solution for them. But it may not be your solution. It may not be your goal or your dream. So one of the things I always tell people is ask for recommendations. Talk to people. See who they've done business with. And talk to several. Find somebody that you connect with, that you trust. Don't just take one person's word for it. Find the people that really are going to, well, hold your hand through the process.
These conversations I know are crucial, and having that trust and relationship with the right people to help them along the way is important. And on that note, how is it that you would suggest that people get in touch with you about finding out more about building these relationships, looking at all the opportunities that you're able to provide? How can we connect with you?
Well, Javier, thank you for offering that. So I do have a website, which is www.lifehealthhome.com. Of course, you can always call me at 301-728-5505. I'm on Facebook under Life Health Home INS, Twitter, Life Health Home. I do have an Instagram that's Life Health Home. So everything's kind of Life Health Home.
Ellen, this has been a fantastic discussion. I really appreciate your partnership in helping the Gov Geeks community. It's much more in our careers than just showing up to work, getting the next promotion to find happiness. We have to have a team of people that can help us. And your insights, as I was mentioning earlier, help people see so much further down the road than we have the capacity to see right now. So you are just awesome.
Thank you so much, Javier. Talking with you has been an absolute treat today. And getting my geek on is, I am chief insurance geek here. So, to talk to another geek-minded person, I love that. Absolutely. Thank you very much for the opportunity. It's really my pleasure. And so if I can help anybody answer a question, happy to do so, really.
Ellen has helped dozens of public servants and their families over the years. To benefit from her insights, remember today's 3 strategies. Number 1, build the dream piece by piece. Number 2, execute your plan. And lastly, number 3, review your progress. We hope you find them valuable in application. As we see it, your work helps others. So be sure to let good planning take care of you too. Please follow us on your favorite social media site for more great interviews and career advice. Check out thegovgeeks.com for coaching, courses, and resources. At the Gov Geeks, we're all about service for public servants.